Hello, everybody. We are going to do a Outer Worlds comparison video. Um, so in about a month, I beat the second one. Went all the way through this one. The character you're seeing is the second one, an earlier character, and the first one I completed right afterwards. So we're gonna compare the two games. One, I will say Outer Worlds 2 is in my top three games of the year. Of what I would say game of the year. Very good game. Very good story, mechanics, everything that's in there. I really loved the game. Now, right after that, so Outer Worlds 1 I originally played when it came out, and I didn't fully understand it, I think. So going from Outer Worlds 2 to Outer Worlds 1, it was easier for me to go in and go in there. First thing that I'm going to compare is the companions. So in this one I only have Niall so far, but the companions in the second one are good, but they're not as good as the one in the first. I think the first game has like that one I didn't really change the companions. This one I stuck with Niles and Inez. And in the first game I stuck with Pavardi and Nyoko. Didn't really use anybody else. Didn't really try and get anybody else. It was also they have I think they have more functional ability in the first game. I mean, in the second game. In the second game, it's easier for you to see. This one's good for DPS. This one's good for healing. This one's going to be good for my engineering, and so on and so forth. The one thing I do wish that the second game had over that the first one had is the ability to put armor on them. So in the first game, you can take any armor, any weapon that you have, and you can put it on them. It makes it work really well, and is a really good mechanic to have. It is something that is not represented in the first game. Now let's talk about the stories. Which story do I prefer? I think the story that takes place in the first game is a more interesting story to me, because it's whether or not you want to bring the colonists back to life, whether or not you want to do this. There's a lot. You understand more the agencies that you're trying to help out and what it really represents. I was confused in the second one on what actually was something that's going to hinder what I'm doing. What's going to hinder me? What's going to not hinder me? And that's one thing that isn't very good. I do prefer playing the game in third person, though, which you cannot do in the first one. I also think a lot of the guns are better in the second game. The first game, in order to make them really good, you have to upgrade. You're constantly switching out your armor and everything. The other system that I think is that I'm not too big on in this one. Let's see if I can get to it. Was this. In the second one, the skills are very much you can only pick 3. The first one was easy for me to really define my build and really make the build work how I wanted it to work. Whereas you can I always like to have a little bit of like lock picking, some guns. In this one, you can only have 20 points in like 3 different skills. Another negative that I would say for both games is the level cap is 30. So if you go through do all the side quests like I did first on my character that I beat the game with, I got to level 30, but I wish that there was more, like a higher level cap. I know there's DLC and stuff for the first one. I have not put that in. I do know there's DLC coming for part 2. Another thing that both games are lacking is bosses. I think in the first game I only came across one boss. And that was wasn't even the final boss. It was like a robot that you fight. But there's no like real final boss. There's nothing in the games that feel like you're fighting a boss. You kind of feel as if you're just going through and you're fighting. You're more going against enemies than you are going against bosses. So to me, there's no real bosses in the game. Combat though wise, the combat is good in both games. The second one, I feel like they knew more what they were going for than the first game. There's also more that you can do in the second one, whether it's the double jumping, there's more exploration. There's more choices that you can do, but the second one, there's more ways to fuck over your playthrough. Like really do it bad. So with the second game, I got the worst ending you could possibly get, where like everybody died and characters drink themselves to death. The first game, I got the best ending you could possibly get. Very good ending. I did everything by the book, every the way you're supposed to. But both games just kind of end. It's no like, hurrah, this big battle, and then you're done. You don't really get that in those games. And that would be something that I wish was different. But Obsidian did the park with the second game. Normally, I won't go through that quickly again and beat the game within like 2 weeks. And normally I don't do that. The other game I did like that this year was also an Obsidian game, and that was Avowed. And Avowed I did the same thing with. Avowed really helped me push the boundaries of what you can do. And I thought that game was freaking fantastic too. But Outer Worlds 2 would be like near my game of the year. It had good atmosphere, gunplay, kept me invested, and I just kept playing along. I just wish I would have got a better ending than I did when I played the second game. So I was just doing a comparison video, and I feel like the first game's good, not as good as the second, but there's stuff that each entry can learn from each other, and I cannot wait for... They've got to do an Outer World 3. Because the Outer Worlds is a great series, and really they should make one more. So I will see you guys on the next one, and hopefully you liked my thoughts and input on comparing Outer Worlds 1 and 2.